So it was lazy Harshit's turn to start, but he, as usual.
Is that going to be his prefix now?
Lazy Mohit or lazy Harshit?
Maybe they're both lazy.
Acha, the split personality in this case
Doesn't have different
Avatars, huh?
It resides in the same body, you know. Laziness is body after all.
So two versions, all right, but this is a common thing.
Yeah, I mean
Between the
most
two.
splits do have something similar, right? Not everything has to be pole opposite.
Things will change come the IPL.
Acha.
That's when Mohit's actually in action.
The Delhi Capitals fan.
The one thing that will not change, whether it is now, 2 years back, 3 years back, 2 years in the future, 5 years in the future, is the kind of pitches that you're going to get for a home series in India. And that is the big talking point today, because we're just 2 sleeps away from the first test of the 5 between India and England, and coach Rahul Dravid faced up to a barrage of questions from the media, and one of the most important bits he said is that they are, and there were no comms about it, he just said it straight up that there will be spin friendly pitches for India-England series. Now that will not come as a surprise to a lot of us, but it's still a stamp of approval, because as has become the norm ahead of every India series at home, that there are talks of whether the pitches are going to be spin friendly, how spin friendly, are they fair, are they unfair, will it turn from day one or will it have gradual turns. All these things are often spoken about whenever you talk about series at home, but now it's a kind of admission from the coach that no, spin friendly pitches. And when there is a confession like that, then pretty much, even though the jury is still out on that we don't know whether it will turn from day 2, day 3, day 4, but it's now pretty much given that it's going to start turning from day 1. What has also been reported from Hyderabad is that you can clearly see dry patches in the good length areas where the spinners will be pitching. The sections are drier than the rest of the pitch, so no rocket science. It I think is now pretty much established that you will get turning pitches from day 1, much like the one that you saw when England toured last time around. That was 2021. So similar pitches you're going to get. And what happened at that time? Most test matches lasted 2, some 2.5, some 3. That was pretty much it. That's what you're going to see. Of course, it's not an exact science, so Rahul Dravid has not said how much or whatever, but pretty much spin friendly tracks is what you're going to get. Anyone surprised? Any thoughts?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, we saw how it was playing in the Border Gavaskar. In fact, incidentally, the England series of 2020-21 in India was really where the coin dropped, you can say. Because ever since that time, I mean, you had the last sporting pitch you saw in India. I'm not counting Ahmedabad because that wasn't sporting. It was the other end of the extreme.
And there were reasons for that.
Permutations combinations, the WTC permutations combinations. 2-1 was what you needed. You were at 2-1, so fine. This series, though, you had the first test in Chennai. That was a sporting track. What happens? Joe Root hits a double 100, or is my memory playing tricks on me? Double 100. England win the first test. After that, there was not one pitch which could be anything close to sporting. Chennai became like IPL levels of Chennai. And then Ahmedabad, less said the better. You had Joe Root of all people getting a fifer. So that was the genesis, and since then it's not changed.
Same to same. Because again, you don't expect.
Well, Sarfaraz Ahmed vibes. Whatever he said, I also agree.
No, but again,
please get him some Red Bull or some.
No, Red Bull I don't like much actually. But yeah, amongst many other things.
Yeah.
But South Africa also, the way the pitches played out over there. Now it's no rocket science. Every country, again, there's points at stake, and as was commented a couple of days back by one of the stalwarts also, is it's going to dampen Test cricket. It's not going to take Test cricket to the level that you want it to.
No,
or
even if
make
it was no WTC, India would have given any others.
See, then it was just going to be about, let's say, pride, and that's about it. You know, again,
No,
you don't
even
want to.
before-
It would change, let's say, from the team that you would have at the other. I'm pretty sure, let's say, if it wasn't, let's say, England with the kind of victory that they had in Chennai the first time around, as we were talking, let's say if it was Sri Lanka with no WTC final to play for, let's say, I'm not too sure if the pitches that you saw later on, because again, it's that rivalry that you have, let's say, within England, within Australia, where you take those things much more seriously. So maybe it wouldn't have happened back then, but now it is most definitely going to happen. You aren't conceding ground, that too at home, when there is a WTC cycle going
No,
on.
I mean in 2017 when Australia came visiting the 16-17 series, you had one bad pitch, was Pune.
And you lost.
And it backfired on you to the point where you actually reverted to type and won the series by playing on sporting decks. I mean the last test, which was at Dharamshala, sporting a deck as they come. And who was the player who had the most impact? That Kuldeep Yadav. Someone who's going to be forced no matter what the conditions. So someone who can flourish in those conditions, someone who's only reliant on a spinning track and pitch it somewhere, let the pitch do the rest, was getting the results. I think the WTC has a big role because again you lost to England. At that point, WTC points were at stake. In 2020-21, the points were at stake. You knew that in later that year in 21 was when the final was going to be played. You wanted the points. That's why you went for pitches that turned up to nth degree as far as spin, but guaranteed your result.
And right now, if you see again, India, let's say, haven't really had the best of starts. You lost some points in the Windies. You then lost some points in South Africa. This is again, and every team's going to work that way. You're going to be maximizing whatever points that you can get here at home. So that's what India's philosophy is going to be, which I won't be surprised if, and it will be, as Rahul Dravid's already indicated. My only worry is, let's say, with Dharamshala, I wonder what you can do to the track over there, and how that can be made into a complete,
You
sandpit
can.
of sorts.
Oh, the alchemy exists.
Yeah.
To what extent? That's something
To
I
an
will be.
extent, yeah.
That's
Look at
one thing.
Ahmedabad or Mumbai. Mumbai and Ahmedabad are two tracks, if you play white ball cricket, the best batting tracks. But man alive, when it comes to playing a test match there, you can make it. Even Bangalore for that matter. Chinnaswamy, it's probably the roadest of roads when you're talking about IPL. But the last ping ball test you had was played in Chinnaswamy. Finished in 2 days. Because the opposition was Sri Lanka, but still.
The formula exists.
Yeah.
And the one basic thing that you do is you keep those areas dry. You stop watering it for a few days leading up. And
Let
then
the
it
sun do
starts
the
to
rest.
break. The same thing would happen on day 4-5 of the test match. Now because you water it less, it starts breaking early. Of course, it can backfire sometimes because, as I said, it's not an exact science. But I think India has pretty much decided that's the way they're going to go about it. And the news also coming out of Hyderabad is that that's what they have done. England, can prepare as much as they want. They had a practice session today. They have one tomorrow. India, on the other hand, by the way, have a optional training session tomorrow. So, which has become a norm with the Indian team. They don't really train full-fledged a day before the game. But 2 days before is that full training session which happened today. Then they'll take a call. I think, in terms of England, the big talking point is going to be whether Bazball is going to work in these conditions or not. And I'm a bit split on that. If I look at it from England's point of view, one thing is for sure, that they're not going to change their plans. As in, I know now with Ben Stokes and Brendan McCullum there, no matter the kind of pitches that you give them, that plan is not going to change. It's the first time Bazball is coming to India. So I know this for sure, that even if you make the typical dry Indian pitches that you've been getting recently, they're not going to suddenly say, okay, let's do plan B here, which would be the common thing to do. But knowing England and the way that they've stuck to that approach, no matter what situation, no matter what game is being played in the series at any given point of time, they've decided to stick to that. How that will play out, if you ask me, I think personally, I don't think Bazball is the right way to go about in these tough conditions. You need to grind it out a bit, and that will present you with the best opportunity of winning a test. The case in point is that 2017 pitch which Australia won in Pune, and also the Chennai pitch to an extent where this England team won. Joe Root they followed and played conventional cricket, they won. Bazball, as I said, we'll have to wait and watch how it performs. The only way of England maybe sticking to that is one that that they live by the sword, die by the sword. They've decided, so they'll play that. The only thing that kind of gives me hope that Bazball might succeed would be like anyway in the remaining test, they weren't lasting those many balls. If they were going to play 40 overs on an average, hypothetically, 40 overs is what they were surviving. And they're like, listen, you play this way, conventional way, or Bazball 40 overs se upar to jana nahi hai. Might as well get 200 in those 40 overs by playing Bazball, rather than sticking around and just about getting 80-90 runs in that period. Might as well get 200, and then if they do get 200, game is on. So from England's point of view, I agree, Bazball is the best option to go about in this series, in these pitches. And if they play it, I won't be surprised. But somewhere, I don't know, the traditionalist in me still feels that the best way is, and India will play like that, grind it out, tough conditions. So let's see which philosophy triumphs in these conditions. Which philosophy, there was a clash of philosophy in the Ashes as well, and there it was a tied series. Here, I don't see it anywhere close to being a tie as well. I mean, Bazball or no Bazball, to beat India in India with the pitches, next to impossible.
So I'm saying 3-2. 3-2 is my series prediction, and I'm sticking by it. 3-2 to India's favor.
3-2?
Yes. You're not getting draws on this tour. Not a chance.
I am going either 5-0, 4-1.
3-2. India still win, but it will be 3-2. Why? Because I think a lottery pitch is where Bazball will work. And if it's a lottery pitch, then as you said, it's if I play 50 overs on this pitch, doesn't matter. In that sense, they'll have an advantage because a lottery style of play on a lottery pitch might just be a winning formula, but that also comes with a risk. Are you going to make those sort of pitches that are that much of a lottery? Because
they will.
Oh, that much of a lottery, then you can also slip up. See, indoor, the worst lottery backfired. First session, Matthew Kuhneman is getting 8 degrees spin and making Rohit Sharma look like a novice. That can also happen.
I'm still going 4-1, but I know one thing is for sure, as I mentioned, they'll definitely play Bazball.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And that'll be fun. Bazball in these pitches. So, series clearly to India, but fun factor England will bring.
It'll be next level, I think, the fun factor.
With Bazball, that's the one guarantee you get. It doesn't guarantee you the result, but yeah, it does. Ashes, for example, again.
Yeah, but different pitches.
If
you had Bazball and India made those old pitches that India made, then it was a 50-50 series.
Oh, then
more.
Yes. Then yes.
Maybe a 55-45 in that case. But now that you know that the pitches are going to be skewed to India's favour, I don't quite think, again, it's a team that likes scoring about 100-120 runs in the first session. They could well be folded with that approach for that total in the first session itself. So that's the thing. They used to posting 320, 330 the first day and then declaring as well. So we've seen weird things happen, but I don't see any of that happening here in India. I think at some point, though they'll start off wanting to play with the philosophy that suits them at the moment, but I think somewhere down in the tour, they will have to recalibrate. I'm pretty sure with the WTC in mind, they also want points from here. It's a big series, 5 series. You don't see 5-match series with the many oppositions now. They'll all only be playing it with Australia for that matter. But otherwise, it's important points at stake, and maybe then the arrogance or whatever you want to call it, that of their approach and philosophy, at some point, I think you'll have to take a step back.
No, they won't take a step back.
Maybe
no taking a step back. I'll tell you, if I'm England, this is how I'm thinking.
It could be 5-0 in that case.
This is how I'm thinking. That I'll get first 8-10 overs of fast bowling. I attack. Okay. Get 3 and over, 4 and over, whatever I want. Get my runs there. The next, I probably have another 30 overs at best in those spin-friendly conditions.
After that, forget about it. Then
I'm in a test match in India,
it's actually winning numbers.
They're looking at that, which is why I'm saying that it'll be a different story, because we've gotten that we've seen. We've seen different teams come and try and cope up differently, and we've now realized that yes, an Australia can win a test or two, or England can win a test or two. More often than not, this Indian team are not going to be, really moved or forced to, put down their bats and balls and their weapons and concede. That also doesn't happen in these pitches. But I feel with Bazball, it's a new dimension. It's going to be a new dimension. None of us know how that pans out. None of us know. For all you know, we're sitting 2 test matches, 3 test matches down, and really talking about a situation where, all our predictions and everything has gone out of the window. Possible.
That's the thing. I think the only thing that will be the key factor, and this is what I think even Michael Atherton had said, I'm doing a video on it, what will really matter in these conditions, the quality of your spinners. And that's why he said very clearly India are favourites, saying more than the batting.
But you as you point out, sometimes unknown quantities are even
Oh yeah,
tougher.
100%. I mean, we were mentioning yesterday Steve O'Keefe, Jason Krejci, Todd Murphy, Matthew Kuhneman, out of nowhere coming and making Indian batters, the best of them, struggle. So it can happen. Again, if you look at the spinners they have as well, none of them barring Jack Leach is a known quantity, and to an extent Root. Rehan Ahmed is very new to the international scene. Shoaib Bashir and Tom Hartley are uncapped spinners. They're literally being brought in for this tour. You don't know. Sometimes it's that unknown that tends to catch you off guard. Who knows? Supposing if I'm India, if I win the toss, bat first, which is convention, a couple of unknown spinners do a little damage, I'm on the back foot.
But again, it's the inexperience and like all those names that you mentioned, Steve O'Keefe, yes. Ajaz, yes, I would say was far known of all those guys.
No, Ajaz Ahmed fair.
Fair enough. But
No, I mentioned O'Keefe and Krejci.
But left arm spinners, they've got 2. And India versus left arm spinners. You speak about Ajaz, Steve O'Keefe.
To an extent, if you're going back not so in distant memory, how Ashton Agar troubled you in the ODI series. And he was Surya. Ambal.
Yeah, rooted.
Surya is not part of the testing.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
That experiment
Even
also
ODI.
went out of the window very, very soon.
He played 1 test. That's
what
it.
I said. Very quickly they got done.
No.
That experiment got over. Just as the KL Rahul experiment of wicket keeping is also over. So
Is it though? I mean, I think they're kind of going like, oh, we'll make him keep for certain conditions, but not these conditions.
So just to let everyone know, Rahul Dravid has said that, because there was a bit of a confusion, but we've been telling you the last few days that no chance KL Rahul is going to be keeping, and I think he just reiterated that. So now it's certain KL Rahul not keeping. So it's either Jurel or KS Bharat. One of them will be your keeper, designated keeper. KL Rahul is not keeping. And so Shane thinks that, as I said, end of KL Rahul the keeper. Shane thinks no. It's going to be conditions, places, where certain places he'll be okay to keep and certain places he won't. But is that fair? Is that how you need to go about it?
If I'm a Shreyas Iyer, I'm fuming. Because I know you didn't have a great tour of South Africa. But if Virat Kohli didn't pull out for personal in Indian conditions.
100%.
In Indian conditions, where he scored most of his runs, where he's really good, where he's probably your second best player of spin internationally after Rohit. You're looking at that circumstance.
I remember doing the story when the news broke of India's squad coming out, and I was like, why? For the first time, it was unusual to see 3 wicket keepers over there, and that's what we kept in mind while doing the selection as well. Okay, 3 keepers, of which now you're making KL Rahul as a specialist batter, so he's not a wicket keeper. That's something that you no. Multiple questions that get asked over here. Are you then turning back to KS Bharat, who you had then discarded after the WTC final? 5 matches is all that he played, 4 over here, and then the 5th one was the WTC final. By the way, if going back to KS Bharat, he didn't give you enough confidence with both the disciplines, neither with his batting nor with his keeping. Remember, spinning tracks, he was struggling in that Australia series where there are points at stake and whatnot, are you then looking at somebody like a Dhruv Jurel, who is again untested, only 15 first class games for him? And what is it that has prompted you? I think that's the more important question. What is it that has prompted you to make that change? Especially when you didn't see any howlers or anything from KL Rahul behind the stumps, that you need him to now not keep just focus on his batting and need someone else coming back in.
I mean, you think KL Rahul was some Bradmanis level batsman or something that you're trying to protect him by not making him keep and potentially not get him injured? I don't understand. If you're going to be as a keeper, then play as a keeper bat.
Keep a bat, yeah.
And if there's going to be different strokes for different folks, then don't take Shreyas Iyer for foreign tours. He's good at home, play him at home.
I mean, I know why they have done it. So the cricketing reason, and because this is a conversation they had with the selectors as well. The cricketing reason is pretty clear that KL Rahul, being a top level batter or a pure batter in your test scheme of things, is expected to spend a lot of time on the pitch, which you saw him get 100 in South Africa, and you're playing him. Anyone you play in the top 5 is a batter that you expect to get you a big match winning score. And so that's why you will pick him in the team. The thing with keeping in India is because majority of the overs are bowled by spinners, your keeper is under a lot of stress because he's squatting a lot. He's getting up every ball. Keeping to a spinner is very different to keeping to a fast bowler where you're standing upright. For a fast bowler, standing behind, also that extra time, extra skill, all of that. For fast bowlers, it's not that tiring to keep. So you can keep, let's say, on an average, if it's a 60 over inning, on an average, if I'm going, 60 overs keeping is a lot of hard work. But 60 overs keeping to a fast bowler is relatively easier compared to a 50 over keeping to spinners, or 40 out of the 50 overs keeping to spinners, because you're squatting, getting up every time, and it's relentless, one over after the other, because you know in India those 3 spinners will be bowling 80% of your overs right from the start. So then for him to do that and then to be expected to bat out at number 4, what if you were to lose to quick wicket and comes in early? Physically may not be possible for him to have that kind of energy to play a big knock, which you expect out of a top 5 batter. So I think that's the logic that they've gone with, that why sacrifice a batter in KL Rahul, where you need KL Rahul the batter more than KL Rahul the keeper. Might as well have a specialist keeper do it, and also the specialist keeper will have the skill to keep to a spinner, which is a completely different skill which KL may not have. He may have looked good versus a fast bowler, but may not have the skill to do. So that I think is a cricketing logic. The problem I see with that is, how do you go forward with a plan like that? Can you continue with a plan like this where you can have someone plays as a wicket-keeper batter in foreign conditions but then becomes just a batter here? What happens to the rest of the players? Will you then extend this to your spinners also? Will you do it? Okay, if I'm playing overseas, I'm playing Jadeja, but if I'm playing in Indian condition, I'm playing Akshar Patel. Why don't you extend that logic to your spinning all-rounder as well? Because Akshar Patel's figures in India, Bradmanis. Will you do it? No. You will play your proper spinner ahead, right? Will you make those changes for batters? Like Shreyas Iyer will be part of every Indian test series, but overseas you drop him. Can you have these standard? I mean, that is the thing that I worry about with a step like this. I understand the cricketing logic, so I mentioned, but I worry about this, that can you do it? And if you do it, then every player is going to say, okay, look at me not as a whole, but in the conditions you're playing.
I mean, you're seeing it happen already, not India necessarily, but again, I keep mentioning this example, England. They see Chris Woakes as a England only guy, and his numbers do kind of back it up.
They don't do Jimmy Anderson as an England only guy. He'll be coming here
and most likely starting with it.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Well then, his numbers in subcontinent aren't great.
Better than Woakes is though. But of course,
I'm just
bigger
saying,
sample size.
Will you do this?
You won't. That's the thing, no? It's a weird double standard.
I'm just wondering, if Virat Kohli hadn't pulled himself out, how would this exercise then have happened?
Shreyas would have been on the bench.
Yeah.
Are we sure of that?
110%. Why else would the news come that you're looking at KL as a pure batter then? Convenient timing? No.
But again, it's not well thought of, is what I would say, because again, again, maybe you could have applied that logic to Shreyas, okay, that Indian tracks, we have to be playing him overseas, but you're doing the exact opposite. Here, where the guy has gotten you runs, is arguably one of the, or unarguably,
Has sometimes gotten you out of jail. May I add?
exactly, and arguably one of the better players of spin at the moment.
In spin-friendly conditions, Bangladesh tour is also another example where you get those
Yes.
kind of pitches. Shreyas Iyer saved the day for you. KL Rahul's numbers were abysmal. Overseas, it's completely the opposite. KL Rahul, last two tours to South Africa where it's the toughest to get 100, he's got hundreds in both those tours.
Centurion.
Serious?
Yeah,
Centurion.
absolutely. So
Exactly.
he has that skill, which I think he's far ahead of Shreyas Iyer on that front. But in spin-friendly conditions, I agree, Shreyas Iyer any day ahead of KL Rahul.
Yeah, I remember that Bangladesh tour. Mehdi Hasan Miraz of
Yeah.
all people was spinning webs around every batter you
Everyone,
had, including
yeah.
Chiteshwar Pujara.
Chiteshwar, Virat, everyone.
KL solid too.
KL was captain in that series and he was torrid. He had a torrid time, I remember.
But he's now going to play. Now your 11's kind of sorted itself out.
Nah.
I think the only debate you'll have is whether you play Kuldeep or Akshar Patel. I think that's the only debate you're having. I don't think even the keeping is a debate. They're going to go with KS Bharat.
Of course, you're not giving a debut to Dhruv Jarrell in this
So
series.
KS Bharat is your keeper. Your two fast bowlers also, I don't need to tell you, in Siraj and Bumrah. And your batters also, Jaiswal, Rohit, open. Right. Then
Gill
you
at
got
three.
Gill at 3. And then you'll have KL at 4, Shreyas at 5 or
Whichever.
vice
Yeah,
versa.
they swap, yeah.
And then your wicket keeper, which will be KS Bharat at 6. Your 3
Three
spinners
spinners, 2 pacers.
sorted. Your 11 is done. Jasprit Bumrah, I wonder what he's going to be doing. He hardly plays in India and once again won't be called upon to do much work because spinners are going to be active. Though he himself has said that, I'd want them to play Bazball because that's our best chance, or at least his great chance for him to pick a lot of wickets.
I mean, we're talking about players. Bumrah, how can we forget? He's an overseas exclusive, pretty much. If you go through his career,
Yeah.
he's barely played in India.
Last time around, in fact, when England came visiting to India, the 21 tour, he didn't play 2 matches. The other 2 that he played, cumulative figures, 24 overs he bowled.
That's not his fault.
That's down to the pitches.
I mean, to be fair, if I was also Jasprit Bumrah,
48 across. So 4 innings, 48. So yeah, how much?
That's 12 overs.
my point
Yeah.
is that now
One full innings.
if I'm also Jasprit Bumrah or if I'm the team, I really don't want to, push him. If workload management is an issue with him, why would I need for him to be bowling here? Especially because it's not going to help me in any way to be, picking up wickets or anything. It's only going to be a burden on his body.
That's why I was really surprised when I saw that he was keen to play Test cricket. And like, you have home tests, so many of them. Why would you want to play here? You're not going to bowl much anyway. On top of that, you've just come back from a stress fracture surgery that took off a year of your career. And considering his action and the way it is, there's a lot of stress, no pun intended, on the back, elbow, everything in between. Why take this stress here?
Okay, let's take a few questions. Also, just a reminder, the India's final match at the AFC Asian Cup is going to come to an end. As things stand, in all likelihood, India will finish winless and goalless, might I add, in the entire tournament. Just about 5-7 minutes to go. But as soon as the game is done, we're going to be live discussing that as well on Sports Today. Probably looking back at entire campaign of the Indian team at the AFC Asia Cup. It comes to an end today. So that's that, but we can take a few questions before that. Vignesh says, hope pitches would be like Nagpur 2023. It was a decent pitch, neither flat nor rank turner. Even Shami was looking comfortable while batting. It was just poor batting by Australia, like India did in Centurion.
Oh yeah, they were spooked. I remember
Nagpur, first test.
before the series, there was all that talk about the swastika watering and all
Swastika
that.
watering, certain patches being left.
They were clearly spooked. They went in with that mentality. They'll never admit it, but you could see it in the way they batted. Very, very tepid, and it cost them. Rohit showed them how you do it. Play a little counter attacking, and that pitch was good to bat. Huh?
Yeah.
He was right. That would actually be ideal pitch.
Sarat Chandra says that how much Bazball you play, you need to have technique, but other than route, I don't see any batter succeeding in spin-friendly conditions. Please take that aspect into account as well.
I think Harry Brook could be that guy that didn't miss
Really?
because he had good test numbers overall. Not necessarily like in India, but his test numbers have been good.
Yeah.
I know that he had a very average IPL.
And
But again-
against spinners only, no less.
Yeah, but as I said, that was a different format, right? So I don't know. I mean, that it would have been a test, but at least we would have known as to how that would have gone. But overall, I agree. Root, but Root has also started playing baseball now. At least at the-
Reverse
He's
ramp.
reverse
Yeah,
ramping first ball and all, yeah, these days.
So he's also started playing baseball. We'll see how he goes on. But I tell you what, I think when you play baseball, if you know very well that you do not have the skills to survive against a spin-friendly attack, as well as on those minefields that you get, sometimes baseball is trying for you to play cross-patted strokes, which works where the ball is turning a lot. Where it's this marginal turn, that's when you play conventional cricket, straight pat cricket, it works. But as you see with a lot of batsmen from the West, when the turn is a lot, they employ sweep shots. And why sweep works is because then you start going and risking the bounce with cross patted, but you at least save the degree of turn. With straight bat, you're not worried about the bounce, but you can negotiate the degree of turn. The horizontal bat instead of the vertical bat is the way to go, which is why a lot of batters, Gooch did it in India, Andy Flower I know did a lot of it, Kevin Peterson would use the cross bat a lot, Steve Smith used it to good effect in Indian conditions with the ball turns, and I think cross-patted shots or sweep shots are going to be an essential part of baseball. That's why I'm saying it could be interesting. It could be the antidote for teams when they come to India and how to cope up with that situation. It could go anyway. It could see the worst case scenario you lose, right? Which you anyway. I don't think too many people are giving England any chance or any other team any chance to win here.
Correct.
The last team that came here and won 2012 was England itself,
only, yeah.
but it was a very different England team. A lot of experience in the spinners that they had. Some good batters that they came here. Kevin Peterson was in fine form in that series.
Wasn't I think the captain at that time was Cook.
Cook also. Cook got a lot of runs.
Sir.
Got a lot of runs.
Peterson got runs, and their two spinners were outstanding.
Swan and Panesar, I think.
I loved Swan, by the way, my favorite off spinner ever.
Yeah.
That action so clean, straight arm, no flex, no nothing. He had two variations, off spinner and slider on. Just those two
But again,
variations.
there was also series dominated by spinners because I remember top 3 wicket takers. I think Pragyan finished with the maximum from India, but after which there were two.
Swan and Panesar.
Swan and Panesar were 20 and 17. So yeah, 37 wickets they took in totality. Again, could be one of those series again.
But see, the difference was, one, they had a lot of experience under their belt. Secondly, I mentioned it yesterday, they came and played practice matches here. This England team has come 3 days before the first game. Yes, they spent time in the UAE practicing those pitches there, but can't be the same as Indian conditions. Anyway, more and more teams have started doing that.
Tanmay Joshi, with a very naughty comment, saying that the reason KL will play as a batsman in India is because he scored a century in South Africa. If he had a poor tour of South Africa, he'd be keeping in this series.
Interesting.
Like it.
Interesting, because he guarantees himself now a batter's spot. But I also mentioned the cricketing reason behind it. Yeah. Okay, take questions. Chaitanya Bagga.
He's saying Pant back into the squad. Who will then go out of the 11?
Whoever's the wicketkeeper.
Yeah, simple.
Yeah.
Probably that's why establishing KL as a
Quite right. I mean, if he's playing as a wicketkeeper bat and Pant comes back, listen, Pant is one of 3 or 4 players who your eyes closed putting on the team sheet. A match winner in Sena Nations and at home. He made absolute mincemeat of Jack Leach last time around, I remember. Pretty much took Jack Leach out of the test squad for a while.
Especially against those left arm spinners.
He nullified that because he'd come. Left arm spinners, I think the only person I've seen play left arm spin better as a left hander like that, Dada.
Oh yeah.
He made absolute child's play out of left arm spinners. I don't think it's a coincidence. India barely had left arm spinners when he was the captain.
Yeah, because he himself thought that
They're no good.
easy meat. Why should I play?
Poor Murli Karthik.
Okay, Kiran Khatri has an interesting take. He says, one factor everyone's neglecting is the size of the boundaries. Hyderabad, Vizag, Rajkot, good venues. Bazball tactic will hold out at the deep. Ranchi unsure. Dharamshala is small. 5-0 India, he feels.
5-0 India, that'll be massive.
Hyderabad, yes, big boundaries. Not so much Rajkot. Vizag is a good venue too, I agree. But Hyderabad, big boundaries, yeah. But again, remember these guys play on bigger grounds as well.
Yeah, I mean, I remember.
Edgbaston's pretty decent.
Yes,
size.
Stokes was clearing those boundaries for fun. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if they connect, if they hit those sixes, then they're probably going.
Yeah.
Then size of the ground doesn't really matter.
Correct. Yep.
The question will be how many sixes they can hit.
Yep. Yes, Shivam, more questions, please. Okay. Freaking Awesome says 2 Indian batters have hit 4 tons against England in India. Azhar and Pujara in Test. Kohli is only 7 runs behind GR Vishwanath's 1000 run, who's the second highest run scorer against England. Thank you for that.
Interesting
Sarat
stats.
Chandra Yalamarthi says, Shane, you're giving the same prediction as he gave in the World Cup for England, where you picked England.
Yeah,
as
there I
the
picked them as
favourite
winners. Here I
so
said they're
let's
still
wait
losing.
till the first man decide if they can do if Bazball can end India's domination, is what he's saying. They will lose by that much and then they'll leave it.
That's a big prediction. Big prediction.
Brananme Bhaumik, right?
Barnome.
Barname Bhaumik. Okay. He says if India makes gaddas, that's a nice name for the pitches that they make, it will be just easy for the openers, as opponents will start with pacers and ball will be new. 30-40 runs will be there. When spinners come, middle order batters then don't have a chance.
But Barnum, it's interesting you mentioned this because I remember Anderson had given an interview before coming out to the UAE, was they were practicing, and he said that our plans are simple. He said we know that there are some pitches where we aren't going to be opening with our pacers, so we'll be opening with 2 spinners. Then as a pacer, your role changes because you're coming on as the first or second change, and then you're going to be looking for the reverse swing. That probably is the reason why Anderson is playing. Mustard getting reverse. I remember he was doing it last series in Pakistan also. There's that one real viral video where he got rid of, I think, Rizwan. Angled in, Rizwan can see the shiny side of the ball, is defending like this, but it goes reverse, takes his off stump, makes Rizwan look like a fool. That's the only reason he's playing.
Karthik from the USA, scale in 11 because Earth isn't flat. Any reason?
Works for him. So you could put any reason over there, it doesn't matter. That's why he's in the playing 11.
See, you don't need a reason.
You don't need a reason. Oh dear.
Okay, Ashidhar says, have Indian spinners forgotten the art of guile of spin bowling on sporting pitches, mainly because of rank turners? Don't test your skills as a spinner. Rank turners will only help from WTC angle. I completely agree. Very, very good point there.
Great point.
By Ashish Dhar, where he says that the fact that you are getting rank turners and Indian spinners. Now, if you see, by the way, it's interesting. If you look at those wickets that fell in that England series where India dominated, and Akshar Patel was outstanding, and so was Ashwin. It's not really to the balls that were turning; it was to the straighter balls.
Yeah.
So if you were doing that wicket to wicket line and the ball skidding on, that's what troubled you a lot. So if you got used to picking your wickets like that, then when you really need the guile and the flight and the revs to allow it to turn, that art is in a way lost. You see it. And by the way, the one other contributor to that is not just the kind of pitches that you're getting here, white ball cricket.
Correct.
So white ball cricket also doesn't allow you all of that. All of that put together, I think you're right. They're losing that. And also, exactly an extension of that is why batters are also now struggling.
I mean, you see, if you look at a Jadeja also, what was the one thing which really frustrated you during the last time you were playing at home? Number of no balls. Why were those no balls coming? Because he kept trying to push it through faster and faster. So he's not trying to flight it. He's not trying to get revs on the ball. None of that. He knows, listen, I'll push it through quick, hit the right spot, ball stump to stump, let the pitch do the rest. That's not skill. No disrespect to Jadeja. He's made a living out of that and he's very good at it. But again, that's condition based.
That's why when you do get some quality spinners from abroad that employ conventional tactics, you find your batters struggling to those on flat decks, because that's also an art which you're forgetting because you don't get it in India.
A Zampa, for instance, someone
here,
who's troubled India.
The visiting spinners will also try and bowl fast, and you try to improve on that skill of yours to playing on that pitch.
I mean, the Tom Hartley, he's compared his bowling style. He's saying I kind of model it off Jadeja. So I try and push it through quick, hit the right length, and then let the pitch do the rest. Which is why, in theory, they've gone for him.
Yep. Ashish Ranjan said we should go with Dhruv Jurel since.
No, don't touch the arrow. Just scroll down slightly.
Since Bharat is tried and tested and hasn't performed with the bat.
I mean, fair, but poor Dhruv Jurel. That is not a series I want to be getting a debut. Give me an easy series against maybe a Sri Lanka, Bangladesh.
Also, I remember I wasn't too happy when they moved on from KS Bharat after just 5 matches and gave Ishan Kishan the debut in West Indies again. If you're again trying to reward people who've been traveling with you and you want to say that okay, what does KS Bharat bring? The fact that he's played so much first class cricket, came in with the reputation of being an aggressive batter who he can be at times. I remember in Delhi, I think he got a 38 runs that he got. He played with some aggression. Yes, he was found wanting with the gloves, but again, first series with the ball turning square from day one at times that you saw in that series, it was always tough. Not bad going back to him, but Jurel, maybe not ideal. Bharat shouldn't have, ideally, after 5 matches, you shouldn't have lost hope on him, but I'm glad in some way they're going back to him if they do.
Yep. We've got a few predictions as well where John feels 3-2, India will win it, much like Shane has picked. Vishal feels it'll be 1-1 by the time
After
the first 2 test matches finish. Interesting. If it is 1-1, we're going to have one hell of a month.
Oh yeah, crazy.
Actually, if it's 1-1, maybe then you're just looking at matches getting over in 2 days, 2.5 days.
What are you looking for now?
Anyway, what else do you want to get?
Yeah, like
you're getting exactly
maybe
that.
not a month then.
No, but then see,
the duration is going to be.
It's not like the start dates get pushed back. No, that were happening, then it's different.
Okay, Lakshman Gorad says Shubman's record in test is terrible. And people say that Shreyas will sit out. Yeah, I mean, whichever way you look at it, I think you make a valid point, but that's exactly what would have happened. Because they're not Shubman's 3, Virat 4. So you're looking at a middle order batsman. But I'll tell you what, even Shubman's on notice to that extent. Who would have thought that he'd be out of the T20 team? He was. So he is also going to be on notice. And I think these few test matches coming up are going to be crucial for him too. And then of course the IPL comes where he's captain.
Of a team that has won one title and finished runner-up.
And he finished the highest run getter last time. If he gets another IPL like that, then we'll forget. Every year.
Then KL Rahul's getting to play test in India because it was in South Africa. Sanju Samson got called back because he hit 100 in an ODI. We mix formats. It's what we do.
We do. That's
what we do.
Okay. Kiran Khatri wants to know, final comment for the day. Pick your leading run scorer, wicket taker in this series. He's picked Gill with the bat and Ashwin with the ball. Good shouts.
Gill is an interesting one. And okay, if it happens, great. I'd say leading run getter, Rohit. Much safer choice. Opener, I think he'll get good runs. Leading wicket taker, it's a toss-up, but I think I'll go with Jadeja. The toss-up was him or Akshar, who seems to love playing against England on spinning tracks.
I'll go KL Rahul. Nice.
He's in form. He's in form. Okay.
I'll go KL Rahul.
Yeah.
But wicket taker Ashwin. I'll be safe at least in one prediction.
Wicket taker, I'm going with Ashwin. Run getter, it's a close shout between Root And I'm going left field with my second choice, Jaiswal. Left field, quite literally.
It's-
Could be root, who knows.
he might Bazball his way to that. Yeah, good. I don't know.
Okay. Shivam has picked Akshar for the wicket taker, Rohit as the highest. Good
I mean,
call.
Akshar made that
Same
more
as Shane.
chance. No, I picked Jadeja, but yeah.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. We're winding up the dugout because we have another live coming up very shortly about the Indian football team's campaign coming to an end at the AFC Asian Cup. So we'll be live with that in a short while from now. Sachin Kashyap has already posted a comment about that. We're coming back live with it shortly. Take care. See you tomorrow for another edition of the dugout. It's going to be the big preview for the first test match. So look forward to your company then. Take care. Bye bye. Why does he say Gill likes to play in his home ground?
Ahmedabad, no? But counting that as his home ground, not Mohali.
Proneet has gone Jaiswal as the highest run getter as me, and wicket taker is
AC? I don't know who AC is. Maybe he means Akshar.
Akshar.
But why AC?
AP he means.
Or AX, at least that would have made some sense.
Anyway, thank you. Bye bye. Take care. Nandri. Vanakkam.
Don't trouble him, mother.
Eat your